I would have liked to have done this officially, but we heard on January 9th, which was the day after your last meeting, that we did get a public library construction program grant award. So there's a lot to do, but the first part is immediate, and it's $100,000 to cover planning and design. And I have a list of other libraries if you're at all interested. But basically, the first part is to hire an owner's project manager. So Michael and I are going to work on an RFP. All right, Michael's going to do that. And to hire an owner's project manager with the permanent building committee. And then have a sort of a subcommittee that is really focusing on the library. It'll be probably similar to the way the middle school is working. And I would love to have a select board member who's interested and committed to be part of that. And the fact is that pretty much, of course, the meetings will be open and we'll always be looking for input from the community. And that is the big thing. I know it took 2 weeks to announce it officially, but
Congratulations.
it's very exciting.
Yeah.
And we just got our contract today, so 2 weeks later. So it's a good time to announce this. And the other thing I wanted to say is that the library is hosting a legislative breakfast on February 7th. I have invites. I'll leave them with Joyce and she can hand them out. I know normally public comment, you don't ask questions, but if you have questions, you can also reach out to me at the library.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Is anyone else here for public comment? Just state your name and address, please.
Jennifer DeGroff, Coolidge Place.
Okay. You can sit down or stand, whatever you feel comfortable.
Okay. So this morning, we were greeted to the unwelcome surprise of 17 towed cars. There was no signage within sight of the parking spaces from which the cars were towed. After calling the police to find out what happened to our cars, they told us, oh, you should have checked our Facebook page. Well, that's good information after, I guess, or looked for some blue light. Again, information after, but there were 0 signs within sight of the marked parking spots that are normally available for parking that would have had any indication that on that particular random night, we could not park. So in addition to the fine for towing and the fine for storage from the time the car was towed until the time the tow place opened, in addition to paying those, in addition to losing work hours because we had to wait for the tow place to open up, we also received a $25 ticket. Had the officer who given us the ticket bothered to contact us in any way or tried to contact us in any way, we would have moved our cars and the cars would have been out of your way a lot faster. Because the tow guy told me that they had to pull in extra help to move so many cars and it took hours. Y'all could have had those 17 cars moved real quick by knocking on our doors and just making us pay the $25 fine. And we're really very unhappy about the lack of signage. It does not seem at all appropriate to impose $200 per car in fees when there isn't even a sign.
Okay. Thank you for your comment. Is there anyone else here for public comment? I'll close that portion of the meeting. Review of minutes for January 8th, 2025.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for January of 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, next we have Franny Hodge, Clinton Greenway Conservation Trust, with an update about the Mass Trails grant letter of support.
Thank you. Yeah, essentially, I've come to ask for a letter of support for our Mass Trails grant application for 2025, but thought you might want a few updates on the 2024 project. We actually haven't started much work on the Mass Trails grant 2024 because the first step is to hire a consulting engineer. That bid's going to be posted next week. And once that engineer is in place, then we'll start working on the bid documents for the trail build itself. There are a few things that we can do meanwhile as well. We're going to replace the gates at the tunnel, and that's kind of separate from the construction project. But the other part on the 2024 grant, which I'm not sure I've given a formal update on, but that grant is actually due until, is good until December 2026, which is unusual. Typically, the grants only go for one fiscal year. But this one, the funds were from another source. And so we do have those available until the end of 2026. The new grant that we'll apply for in 2025, if we receive that grant, it'll be good until June 2026. So we'll be in a position where if we get the new grant, we will likely want to spend that money first because it will expire in June of 2026 and the other we have till December. But the overall idea is that with the second grant, we'll have enough money to build the full trail from the Rauscher Farm to the Berlin Town Line. And we can then probably do the construction in one single phase because we'll have enough funds for the whole project. So once we know about the grant application for 2025, we will hopefully be able to then plan on building the full trail, and then the build phase would start in the summer of 2025.
Great.
Yeah. So I did include a little picture just as a reminder. And then I included the letter that Matt wrote for us last year, Julie, so you can, if you need any more information for this one, essentially, we're asking for the construction for the same section of trail. It's just to have the full funding for the trail for successful in this grant application.
Sounds good. Any questions?
No, not really.
All right. You have to.
Do we have to authorize?
You may need to take a motion to
Sure,
say.
yeah.
do the
I'll move that
letter.
we authorize the chair to sign a letter of support for Clinton Greenway Conservation Trust Mass Trails Grant Letter of Support.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Next, we have town administrator's report.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just two items that I wanted to talk about tonight. First one is the Superintendent of Public Works will be coming to the next meeting to the board, and we'll try to get information out to you in the next couple of days. He would like to discuss with the board a probably water, sewer, and trash fee increase going forward. The trash fee, as was mentioned, has gone up substantially, the disposal cost for the trash. So that is running way behind budget on expenses for that. And also water sewer has been tight the last couple of years. I know it's something Department of Revenue has looked at and, like to see the town come up with a plan. There was a 3-year increase that was put in place several years ago. That has expired, and it's been a couple of years since there has been any increase. So I think you'd like to propose maybe that tiered revenue source again coming in. So like I say, he just put together some numbers that I'm reviewing. We'll send that out to the board members, and whether he'll have I can work with the chair, whether the superintendent will come in next meeting and kind of explain it, and then you can, the following meeting, hold a hearing, a rate hearing, or if you want to do it all at once, that's something we can talk about once you see the numbers. But just wanted to kind of get it on the radar that it has something that's been, at least water sewer has been tight, but the trash was really, after first 6 months of expenses and revenues, is showing that we're going to be very behind with that huge tipping fee increase that we had. So, and with that, I just kind of wanted to segue just into the budget process. The budget process is well underway. Several departments have been submitting their budgets already. The other ones are expected in the next couple of weeks. The governor had released her FY26 budget today. So there is some good news there that the governor did go up. There was a consensus on state tax growth of 2.2%. So the unrestricted government aid, local aid went up by 2.2%. So at least it's something. So we're getting an increase there on the town side aid. But also the bigger piece, I think, is the Chapter 70, that the budget still continues the full implementation of the Student Opportunity Act. So that's been a big help to helping the schools get to where they need to be without really having a huge impact on town side as well too. So that's good news. I think we'll see what the future holds going into next year and the year after, but at least for this upcoming budget, if that holds, I think that'll be a big help to the town. Charter schools are fully funding. The circuit breaker, the special education circuit breaker, was funded at $682 million. So again, I think that's fully funded according to the provisions of the Student Opportunity Act. So again, showing that the administration is continuing to fund these needs, and it's a big help for a town like Clinton that relies so heavily on state aid, that knowing that the state is keeping up with the inflation and keeping up with the expenses to try to help us out. The pilot payment in lieu of taxes, that went up 1.5 million as well. So this should see a little bit bump there. We don't bring in a lot of money on that category, but again, it's better than seeing any cuts. So I was kind of pleasantly not surprised, but pleased that at least we can go forward with looking at at least some increases, at least no lower than level funding, but definitely on that student opportunity, that'll be a big help on our budget going forward. So now that we have these numbers, I can put together some preliminary projections for the select board and for the finance committee, so that we can start that process now. I think the finance committee, I think they were looking to set some dates to start the joint hearings. So now that we kind of got some good data, we can start moving forward on that. Good. Thank you.
Thank you. There doesn't seem to be any administrative business. Old and new business, personnel recruitment discussion. I'm going to start with the update on the procurement.
Sure.
situation.
Yeah. I think the board had indicated they were looking to take on a recruitment firm to help with the town administrator search, as I think it's a good idea, as most communities do. According to the procurement laws, if there's under $10,000 expense, it would be best business practices. If it's between 10,000 and 50,000, you would have to solicit 3 bids and take the lowest bidder. You don't have to get 3 bids, but you have to at least ask 3 qualified firms for a bid and then take the lowest bidder. Over 50,000, you have to do sealed bids and go out to advertisement. However, there is a provision that even on the 10 to 15,000, that you could do a request for proposals. So I think a lot of communities go that route because then you can look at qualification-based firms. So it's not just taking the lowest price or somebody coming in and kind of lowballing. You can actually look and see what is the experience and the background of the firm, and are they going to meet the needs of what you're looking for. It's a little bit more of a complicated process. It's putting together the RFP with the scope of work. It's advertising, putting it out, a notice in the paper, putting out to full bid. Then you would have to have a review committee that would get those proposals. You'd have to interview the firms and kind of select the one. Without looking at price, you would then select on qualifications, and then after you make that selection, then you can open the price proposal and then negotiate a final deal from there. So those are the 2 avenues. So if the board wanted to go the RFP route, then I would suggest if I could work with the chair to make sure that the chair is good with the document, and then get it out and have it returned and submitted, however the chair sees fit at that point, if the board wants to go that route. So.
Any thoughts?
That's what I'd like to do. I think we had best luck with our assistant town administrator search last time and as far as recent searches. And so whatever process we use for that, I think I'd
Do the
support
same.
for this one.
Right now, are you referring to hiring a firm, or are we talking about the procurement aspect of it?
Do you remember what when was used RFPs for that? Because I don't think we went.
Yeah, the last time that we used a firm, it was below the 10,000 threshold, so it's just best business practices.
I see.
But I think and I don't know, but I think the market for a town administrator search is a higher threshold. I
Sure.
think, and it's been several years
Yeah.
as well. I think the treasurer one was 9. So I think if the treasurer is 9, I'm expecting a town administrator is going to be over 10. So it
Yeah.
would trigger that process of either getting 3 bids or doing an RFP for qualification based.
So on the 3 bids, you have,
You have to
You have to take the
you have to
lowest.
take the lowest one.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say the RFP,
Yeah.
and then whatever we have to do to tighten up the timeline on it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so to be more efficient and
I think the rough estimate the consultant gave me was at least 14. So I'm guessing it's in 14 and in the maybe neighborhood slightly above. So I think he was trying to just leave it open in case there was an additional fee once he got the RFP or once the RFP went out.
Sorry, is that lease or thousands?
What?
What's the
No,
14?
sorry, $14,000 above the, like we were just saying, money wise. No, timeline is still,
is there a sounds like someone has a kazoo in here.
yeah,
but
sorry.
Is there a distracted me.
What is that?
Is there a minimum timeline on how long you have to post
It's the heat.
the?
Yes, the only timeline is 2 weeks notice. So once you do the legal notice and the availability of the RFP, it's just 2 weeks after that. And you don't have to solicit. Once you advertise, it's up to firms to know to look for it. So once you just send a notice to the paper, if it's something the board wanted to do next Friday, it could be in the item next Friday, and then it's only required 2 weeks posting at that point. After that, it's really up to the board as to if you want to have a review committee or the board will do it themselves, or how you evaluate the proposals as to whatever time the board will take thereafter. But it's just 2 weeks to advertise.
So there's potential that you could maybe have the whole process wrapped up within 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So for the posting, yeah.
Yep, you would
I'm
have the
fine with that.
proposals in 3 weeks. Yep,
Yep.
in your hand. Yep.
And if it's around 14, that's frankly less than I thought. So
Yeah.
we should get what we want, not just, if they're going to be
Agreed.
$500 cheaper, then
No, I agree with you
Yeah.
there for sure. Okay. We have to vote on that.
Make a motion. I'll make a motion to
authorize the chair to.
Yeah.
yeah, I'll make a motion to authorize the chair. I'm off.
That's okay.
I'm going to make a motion to authorize the chair to develop an RFP for search firms to aid in the town administrator search.
Second.
Does that work?
Yep, perfect. Yep. And then with that, it can be in the item, next week's item, and then it can start the process. Yep.
Great. Thank you. Oh, all right. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
0.
Thank you.
Okay. Any personnel updates?
The only other, anything new, it's just the Council on Aging had just announced today of a new hire, Laura Taylor, who was an employee at the Parks and Rec Commission, who will be taking over as the new executive director at the Council on Aging Center. So,
Best of luck.
All right. Okay, next, any committee reports?
None from me. Cable's going to meet next week, I think.
All right. No community announcements. All right. So now Now we are going to leave open meeting to go to 3 executive sessions to discuss based on Article 3, Step 3 grievance hearing, IAFF Local 3189. The second session is based on Article 3, Fire Union Contract Renewal Negotiation Update. And then the third is Article 6, South Meadow Landfill Utility Easement. We will not be returning to open meeting after these 3 executive sessions. So I'll accept a roll call to leave open meeting to go to executive session.
Sean Kerrigan, aye.
Julie Bruce, aye.
Matt Kobus, aye.
All right.